Hi everyone, it's me Joseph again from Respawning, doing another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video, just like always. And it's another edition of my event prep series that I'm now continuing on. If you remember, I did the whole Thrawn and BB-8 event prep, where I went through the squads needed and where to farm them, and I wanted to do a bit more in-depth this time, helping out like the newer players a bit more who maybe don't have all of the characters needed. I'm still going to cover two characters. We're at the 16th of October right now, so I'm going to prepare you for Commander Luke Skywalker and Jedi Rey. Now, of course, Jedi Rey isn't confirmed, but I don't want people to just ignore the chance of it coming in December with the new movie, especially since they have confirmed there will be a new character based on someone in the game. And Rey does have a new name, as I've spoken about before in my news video, so she's likely the one to become the new character. So, let's start with what comes first. The second anniversary of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes comes next month in November, which puts at a good chance of Commander Luke Skywalker returning. I think this as well, as we have the R2-D2 event at the end of the month, so it's important that we have that as well. So that's what we're going to start with here. We're just going to go straight to our Empire characters. First, we need to make sure we have R2-D2. Because if you don't have R2-D2, then there's no point preparing for the whole Commander Luke Skywalker event. Now, there are two pretty solid Empire characters that most people will have at 7 stars after a decent few months of playing. That's Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. Palpatine you get through Rebels, who is one of the most accessible and successful factions in the game. We've also just had the Thrawn event, so some people will have him at 7 now. We have now Tarkin is really easy from the squad arena. TIE Fighter pilot is a Cantina. Magma Trooper from Galactic War. Originally I used Vader, Palpatine, Tarkin, Pilot, and Magma, and it's just a simple squad. Darth Vader and Palpatine at gear 10, I believe, and maybe even 9 for Vader. It's just enough to get you through. And once you have a 7-star R2-D2, then you're pretty much sorted. So just make sure you have the 7-star Empire squad by the end of the month. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to compete for easily one of the best characters in the game, Commander Luke Skywalker. But what do we need for the Commander Luke Skywalker event? Well, surprise, surprise, you need Rebels. There's mine. So yeah, once you've got the 7-star R2-D2, you don't need to gear him up too much. I believe I had him at gear 8 when I had the event. I didn't even have all of his abilities upgraded. They were all level 5, no Omegas at the time. So just gear him up a little bit. Make sure he's 7-star. That's all you need to do there. Next character you need is Stormtrooper Han. He was at gear 8 when I did the event. Abilities, as you can see, only Omega and the leader, as he was the leader of my choice for the whole event, I believe. So yeah, he was that's right. I Omega'd him specifically for the event, for the extra bit of defense and offense, just so that I would survive more. Who's next? Princess Leia is next. As you can see, she's still gear 8. Now this girl is very much the MVP of the entire event. As you can see, while she's not insanely geared and doesn't have all of her abilities, as soon as I put an Omega on this basic for the extra multi-attack and the turn meter chance, I immediately found myself beating the event. It took me days to even get close to the end. But with these two abilities with their Omega, she's going to be in stealth, she's going to be cranking out so much damage. I believe I put some crit damage mods on her at the time. I don't know if they're still on her. We'll have a quick peek. Yeah, she had to have a lot of speed as well. 191, I believe, was the one I used at the time. Just a bit of extra critical damage, but it was more at the time. And a 50% crit chance nearly. So yeah, just if you can just focus on Princess Leia with the abilities, not even much with the gear, just get her abilities up, then you're going to see that you're going to get the event nice and easy, and then Commander Luke Skywalker will be in your hands. But unfortunately, we still have 2 other characters that we need. We've got Farm Boy Luke Skywalker, who was at gear 9 for me, but as you can see, his abilities are still at the state I left him in. This guy's just going to be the one that deals a bit of extra damage next to Princess Leia. Put some crit crit chance on him, get some dots out. Nothing too special, but you need him, so just get him to 7 stars. Don't worry about the abilities, gear 9, gear 8. As long as you got Princess Leia, you should be fine, relatively. That's all I can say. And technically, while Obi-Wan Kenobi isn't in the last phase of the event, you still need him at 7 star for the Darth Vader fight. Now, you don't actually need much gear on this guy at all. You could probably do it with gear 7. These are the abilities that I have right now. As you can see, they're all like level 4 mainly, level 5. You don't really need any gear or mods on him. He'll just have a little bit of one-on-one with Darth Vader. It won't really take much damage or deal much. He's not supposed to. You just have to survive for about 6 turns, so then you can escape. And that's pretty much it for old Ben. So, where can we farm these guys? Alright, okay. So, the hardest one is obviously R2-D2 with the Empire events. But that also means that's one less character for us to farm through events and nodes. Now, Princess Leia, nice and easily enough, is in the squad arena, which puts it like 5 shards or maybe even 10 shards a day, which is a solid rate to gain shards for. You should be getting her anyway, so you can get her 7 stars, and then you'll have one of the best characters ready for you. Stormtrooper Han, however, is also in the squad arena, so you might want to do a bit of both. If you can get 800 tokens a day, put 5 into each character maybe, or just focus down on one and then focus on the other, whatever works for you and your farming habits really. So those two are in pretty accessible locations, but then we've got the bit of a struggle here with Skywalker and Kenobi. By struggle I mean that you can't farm them with like specific bundles, apart from Luke Skywalker, who you can get from the guild store. Now, if you get a lot of guild currency, then that's good. You're obviously going to be pulling in that whenever you can. It's just an extra boost. But normally these guys are in the first 2 sections of the Cantina battles, which puts them at 8 energy each, which is really good because it means you're going to have a lot of chances. So Luke Skywalker is here on 1B. You can be doing like as much refreshes as you want. Maybe for a while you want to stop refreshing your energy on normal nodes and just focus on Cantina. That way you can just like put out loads into these guys. And then you've got Obi-Wan at 2F. So the same story for him. Just keep him going. Just keep them both going until you get to 7 stars. Don't worry about gear too much on all of the characters. You just need to make sure those abilities on Princess Leia are up there. Maybe use the leader ability on Stormtrooper Han. I believe I had the Omega on his taunt as well. No, I didn't even have the Omega on his taunt. So it's just a case of surviving, cranking out damage with Princess Leia, and that's what you'll need to eventually get Commander Luke Skywalker. Luckily for you, you unlock him at 7 stars, so then it's just a case of gearing him up, and then you've got the best character in the game, pretty much, running out the arena. So that was the Commander Luke Skywalker event, which should be coming back in by estimate next month, or maybe the month after. I would still farm like the relevant characters first for Commander Luke. We're going to move on to Jedi Rey, which you should prioritize after. But however, there are some characters that you can do at the same time as your Commander Luke Skywalker event, which you should be doing because you don't want to put them off thinking, oh, no, I'll do it later. I'll finish farming Qui-Gon or whatever. And then the event will get announced and you're like, I actually don't have enough time to do this because I'm a bit silly. So let's just make sure we know what we have to deal with. Let's head over to the Resistance because this is likely the tag that you will need. Okay, let's start with the worst case scenario first. You're going to have to use the event team that was used for BB-8. If you remember, we had to use First Order against a team. The team was consisted of Rey, BB-8, Finn, and then I believe it was Veteran Han and Veteran Chewie. Now that is the worst case scenario. You can't even see the veterans here because they don't even have the Resistance tag. These guys are not farmable yet, but they... you'll need them at 5 stars maybe if they're needed. But the only reason I don't see them being needed is the fact that the only event that's required specific characters within a faction is the Luke Skywalker event, which needed, the characters from A New Hope. Now, Rey isn't exactly doing the whole Jedi journey thing like Luke, but I don't put it past them. That's all I'm going to say. Because otherwise the Resistance can be farmed pretty decently. And she's going to be a special character. So I just really hope that they don't go through this. However, if they do, if they don't even, then there are still 5 easy resistance characters for you to get. Priority number 1 is Finn. He will be your leader. He will be the one helping out everyone. If you look at his leader ability, it just grants a ton of offense and defense. This is the normal one. So this is just if you don't have the Zeta, you've just got that extra defense, and that's going to help you survive a lot. If you do have the Zeta, then you probably have one of the best squads in the game already, which is the Resistance, because these guys are pretty crazy with how much they can expose and do damage. So Finn, you can find him in like multiple different nodes. We've got him at 3E here in the Cantina. So that's going to be the cheapest option available to you, and you want to do this as soon as you don't have any other farms on. If you have Luke and Obi-Wan done, then you should prioritize Finn. I don't care if you want to get Royal Guard up to 7. You should focus on Finn right now, because he's one of the best leaders in the game and one of the most underappreciated Zetas I've ever seen. And if you do want a bit of extra grinding, he's in the hard shop as well at 7A for 20 energy, which isn't really efficient. And I would just focus him in the Cantina, nowhere else. So once you've got him, we've got the next guy who's nice and easily farmable, is R2-D2 from the Empire event coming at the end of this month. Well, I say easily farmable, I mean it's conveniently timed. You know, he's a nice and easy character once you've got those Empire squads. But don't worry if you don't, you can still get characters like Resistance Pilot. He can be found in different places you can see popping up here. He can be found in bundles in the Galactic War Store as well as the Fleet Arena Store. He can pop up every so often there. So yeah, there he is. There's 5 shards right there. And then if we go back, and then you can find him right at the bottom here. If we go down, there he is. So you can get loads of shards for this guy, like very often. And he'll be in shipments and stuff, but you don't need to like waste crystals on that. You want to put that into refreshing your Cantina. Now it's put me out, which is pretty annoying. Let's go back in there. So the next character is Poe Dameron. Now Poe can be found from the Cantina Battle Store, which doesn't mean you're using nodes, but it means the energy you do get can be spent down here. Now this is good because this is someone we can do while we do the whole Commander Luke Skywalker event. So every time you refresh, you're going to be doing loads of energy on the Cantina nodes. You're going to get about 400 currency, and you're going to put that straight into Poe. Don't worry about these other guys too much for now. I understand you might want Rebel Scout for territory battles or anything like that, but you should be focusing on Poe Dameron, just solely for the fact that Resistance is great and that he will likely be needed for the event. So that's one character that you can do at the same time as other ones. Now, I don't think the characters in the Commander Luke Skywalker event use the hard node like methods of farming, which is where we're going to go and get a Resistant Trooper. He has 2 nodes at 12 energy, which is great because it's nice and cheap, and you can probably do all of those in a day. But he also appears in the Guild Store, which means you can get 5 shards every so often through methods like that. Now, he is one of the key players in the Resistance squad, so it's very important that you get this guy like pretty much as soon as possible. So I would focus on him as well. Stop over hard grinds at the minute and just focus on him. But however, if it comes worse to worse and BB-8 is needed for the event, then that's going to put a big dent in your farming, as most of the First Order can only be found in the hard nodes. You've got the TIE Fighter Pilot, and you've got the they've got such annoying names. You've got First Order Stormtrooper and First Order Pilot. Those guys can only be found pretty much efficiently through the hard nodes, and they have very expensive that's going to get in the way of Resistance Trooper. However, if I were you, I would try to get Resistance Trooper first, because there is a chance that BB-8 won't be needed for the event, and we're all just being a bit paranoid. So don't waste your time farming the First Order if it's not needed. You can do the First Order as soon as you do the Trooper, because you will obviously need him for the First Order event again, so you can be prepared for that next time. Alright, so we've picked 4. We've got Finn, Poe, Trooper, and Pilot. We still need one more. We've talked about R2-D2 as a possible option for those farming the Commander Luke Skywalker event, but Rey is also a pretty solid option. She can be found in 3 different nodes for different ranges of prices. while also farming the Millennium Falcon. And she also pops up in the guild store. So she's a character with options, if you're struggling to get one of the other ones, if you don't think you're going to get R2-D2 at 7 stars, then you can put your time into Rey. There are also, while I don't normally talk about paying for characters this way, there's a great sort of promotion they're doing at the moment, where if you buy a Google store card on Walmart.com, then you get rewarded with a ton of Rey shards, essentially. The exact deal is, like, depending on how much currency you buy from Walmart, they'll give you a certain amount of crystals, currency, and Rey shards. So I believe it's like if you spend $10, you get the $10 credit on your Google account, but you also get like, I guess 600 crystals, and then you unlock Rey at 4 stars immediately, which is equal to about what? 85 shards, I think that is. Yeah, I think that's right. If you spend $25, then you get her at 5 stars or 6 stars. You get a lot of shards. You get like 150 Rey shards, but you also get the crystals as well. But as well as that, like, the fact that you get crystals and the currency means you can spend the $25 on more crystals, like on top of the ones you got bundled, or you can keep it for like a decent pack if you are struggling with one character and you think they'll get a one of those promotional packs where you can just pay for shards. If you are a crazy spender, I think if you spend $50, then you get Rey immediately at 7 stars. You get like 2,500 crystals and the $50 on top of that. I believe it's like one of the most efficient like methods to get crystals and shards, as even if you already have her at 7 stars, you're going to get a crazy ton of currency in the shard shop for that. But like I said, that's a very payment method, so I wouldn't really recommend it if you don't want to pay for anything. But yeah, that was sort of the resistance with seeing 5 different characters. If you have R2-D2, you're going to have a lot of help, as you won't have to farm Rey. But, if you've got like $25, which you can do in worldwide as well. I've done it in the UK for like the $10 bundle. You could always just get some credit on that, and then you'll get the Rey shards, and then that'll help you out a big amount. You'll have one character pretty much farmed for you, as well as the crystals to keep up the cantina farms. So that's where you want to sort of be investing your time into. Most of the characters for Commander Luke can be farmed in certain nodes. We've only got Finn that will correlate, get in the way of those 2 characters. But as long as you're farming Ben and Luke, and then you can do Finn, and then you don't really have to farm a specific character in the cantina anymore. You just need to get power from the shop. And you've got Rey in hard nodes, Resistant Troop in hard nodes. These 2 are both in the guild store as well, which is great. Then Pilot in Galactic War. Really accessible places. I believe if you get these guys to 7 star, you're going to have a hell of a time. And then you're going to get Jedi Rey. Don't worry too much about getting Veteran Smuggler and Veteran Chewie, because, if they do make these guys required, then it's kind of a dick move, because it's the whole panic farming method again, what they did with Phoenix and Thrawn the first time he came out. But just remember, you don't have to get the character the first time they're out. You can just, sit out, don't spend a penny, and now that they're farmable, just put in time and invest in them over time. Don't worry too much, just take what you have at the moment, and then accept that you're not going to get him this month. If it's someone like Commander Luke Skywalker, I understand that, you'll feel weaker for some time, but there are still plenty of free-to-play squads out there that can deal with these sort of meta squads. So it's just one of those things where the more you put in, the more rewarding you're gonna get. But there are still free alternatives. If you do want the veterans as well, they do pop up in these smuggler bundles. So if you do pay for those Rey shards and get extra crystals and currency, you could probably invest into one of those packs. I believe one of them is guaranteed to give you veteran smuggler shards for either character. So, it's always a chance, but you're probably only going to get 10 shards anyway. So at this point, just wait and see. Get those resistance guys ready, and then if needed, start farming these guys like crazy when it's announced that we do need them. But hopefully not. So yeah, that was pretty much getting ready for Commander Luke Skywalker and Jedi Rey. So get those characters, get the resistance up, and then you'll find yourself a lot more comfortable. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit longer than my normal one, but I've kind of touched in a bit more with where to farm and who to farm first sort of thing. So yeah, Commander Luke first, coming next month hopefully, and then Jedi Rey in December. That's my prediction. I hope you found this video. I'll see you again next time. This is me signing off. Bye bye.